Today we're going to do some watercolor Ristras. And now I'm saying watercolor because I think most of you have watercolors at this point, but if you don't, you could also use markers, oil pastels, colored pencils, whatever you've got to make that color happen, but I'm going to show you how to use watercolor. So Ristras, chili Ristras, this is how people use these chili peppers as decoration, but also dual purpose. They hang them up to dry them so that they can just pluck them off when they need to ground one into, chili pepper to make chili and things like that. So, what we're going to do here is draw the Ristra, and we're going to start with this crazy hair, and then we're going to go into drawing the peppers. And you can draw those peppers however you like, but I've found it's kind of like you're drawing a big giraffe tongue in all different directions, all the way down, and layering it. And then when you finish it off, you want to color it by leaving one little streak, as many of the peppers as you can, where you're not going to paint it and color it. So you're literally going to leave that spot blank right here, and that gives it this illusion that it's shining. Now I may have posted another Ristra video for you, how to do Ristras hanging off of wood here like that, and if you're interested in that, I can post that video also. There's a couple ways to do that, but for this particular video we are going to work on just doing a single Ristra, and like I said, there's a lot of different ways you could color it, but that's what we're going to work on today. So for this you're going to need a pencil, paper, watercolors, water, paper towel or some kind of absorbent paper product, and a paintbrush, and that about covers it. And then if you want, you can add some cool sunglasses on top of it if you'd like. I don't know. Those just fell on there from another project and I liked it, so I left it. Anyway, we're going to start by hanging our Ristra from the top of our paper and then kind of going from the middle out. Let's see if I can make this easier for you to see, depending on how the light shines on my picture. And what this really is kind of like a straw raffia looking material, but it kind of looks like a crazy hairdo to me, so it's however you want to do it, but just like the gist of it, because you're going to go over that later with colors. So then we're going to start drawing the chilies. Now, if you've ever been to the zoo and you've seen a giraffe tongue, when you've like fed the giraffe lettuce or something like that, that's what it reminds me of, a big giraffe tongue. So it's kind of like fatter on the top and smaller at the bottom. And so that is kind of the shape I want you to start using. And I'm not an expert in drawing chili peppers, so whatever shape you think looks good is good with me. But if you don't give it this kind of almost like a squash type shape, then it might start looking like jalapenos. So, which is fine. You could do it that way too if you want to. So I'm just going to go all the way down, and notice I'm putting some like they're overlapping underneath by bringing a line out from one that's already drawn and putting another line as if it's going behind it. That gives it the illusion that we're layering these chili peppers the best we can. In general, you want your chili peppers to hang downwards and then curve a little bit, any direction that you want. So I'm just going to do as many as I feel like I need to have to make my Ristras look full. Now you can decide how long you want it to go. If you just want it to be like this long and call it good, then I would just make sure you kind of bring it down to a point at the bottom. If not, you could make it go all the way the length of the page if you want. But I think I will probably shorten mine so it doesn't go all the way down this time. And some of them I'm putting that little line in the middle just to remind me like where to put the highlights to make it look shiny, which is that when I told you to leave some parts of it white, it makes it look shiny and kind of that waxy reflective look that chili peppers have. And when you color these, I think it would be best if you stuck with like reds and oranges. I've seen other chili peppers like purpley colors and yellows even, which is fine, you can do those too. But one of my students in Maxwell, her family owns a chili farm, and they were telling me, I said, why don't I see green ones? I never see green ones. And she said, well, that's because even if you put a pepper up there that's green, they usually turn red. After you pick them and they kind of start drying, they turn red. So that's why you don't usually see green ones, because usually by the time that they're hung up and dried out and everything, they're red instead of green. So you can make them whatever color you want, really, but I'm going to stick to kind of reds and greens for mine. It's your artwork. You can make them rainbow colored if you want. I think I'm going to end mine pretty quickly here before the end of the page, and then check and see if it's kind of symmetrical. Oh, these are kind of starting to look like bananas towards the end, because I'm not making them skinny enough at the bottom. There we go. Now they don't look as much like bananas. So I'm going to kind of, end mine in almost a point. If you can, you might want to do that. If not, it's no big deal. Then I'm going to go back and see if it's symmetrical. It looks like this side is a little more sticky outy, so I'm going to add some on the other side to counter that, so they're the same amount of chilies on both sides. And up here it looks too skinny compared to the other side. There we go. Okay, so there you go. We got your Ristra. Now you're going to start coloring it in. You can use watercolors, or you can use markers. You can use colored pencils, whatever you want to use. I want you to leave that white spot in the middle so it looks shiny. So I'm going to start with red, and I'm using watercolor. So we're painting kind of around the edge and closing off the top, but leaving a little bit of that white in the middle. And it works well if you're doing markers too, that way. Or you could use oil pastels. The only thing about oil pastels is if you don't press hard enough, you get a lot of white in the background that's not covered. So you gotta make sure and press hard with those oil pastels, or maybe go over it more than once. So I think I'm gonna put some orange ones in there too. That's why I'm not painting every single one. I'm kind of going around trying to make them, trying to leave some so that every once in a while I've got a space for an orange one. So you just kind of paint the right side and the left side and leave the little sliver in the middle white. And when you're using watercolor, you want to just dip your paintbrush in the water, then swirl it around in your paint for a little bit, get a lot of that color to pick up, and then start using it. If you swirl too much water in there, then you're going to get a super light color. It's going to be real watery, so don't add a ton of water. Just add just enough to pick up that color. And if you're trying to drag your brush and it's like grainy and it's not the right color, then you probably need to add some more water. And swirl it some more. I was surprised. I did this with markers the other day and it works really well with markers too. So, but I heard you got some art supplies from the school and I'm very happy about that. Whenever I get art supplies, it feels like Christmas or my birthday to me. That's usually what I ask my family for Christmas. I just need some more paper and more art supplies. Especially this year, since we're home. I'm making a lot more artwork at my house. I don't know about you. So if you want, you can make the ones on top a little bit lighter and the ones on bottom a little bit darker to show that they're underneath, so they have a little bit of shadow from the overlapping peppers, but you don't have to. It's totally up to you. If you want to do it all red, you can paint all of them red, but make some of the reds a little bit lighter and some a little darker. I think that looks good to have that contrast, which means like opposites. And if it's underneath something else, it's not going to have that shine. It's going to only be, the shine's only going to be on the part that's not underneath the other chilies. So something like that. At the bottom it looks like a bunch of bananas, doesn't it? I'm not the best chili drawer artist, but I'm trying. Alright, so now I'm going to go back and add some orange chili peppers. And you can do whatever color you want. You don't have to do the same choices that I've done because it's your creation. I'm trying to go kind of fast so this video doesn't last forever for you guys. But if you need to slow it down or pause it, you're welcome to do that. I'm almost thinking I need to add another chili up here. It's kind of not even. So then when you're done with your chili peppers, you can paint that crazy hair on the top, that straw, like raffia, kind of a yellowy brown color if you want. I'm going to add just a smidge of brown to mine. It's like a brownish green. It's not even a... It's not normal. And then, if I were you, I would paint this background blue or something like that. And so I'd get I don't know if you have more than one brush available to you, but I would just take some blue and just plan to paint this whole background blue. I only have 5 minutes left to do this, so I gotta hurry up. Ooh, and lots of blue and lots of water so that it rolls smoothly along your paper. Oops, I got a little green in my blue by accident. Oh, where's that blue coming from? Oh, you know what I did? I drug my brush through the yellow and blue makes green. So that's what happened. So I'm going through with a bigger brush and just getting as much color and paint on there as I can. Just really soaking it with water and dragging it through there. But when you get close to those chili peppers, you're going to want to go slow and more detailed. I keep dragging it through the yellow. It's alright, it kind of looks cool to give it that different color in the background here and there. You can blend it in. So now, what I would do is go in with a smaller brush, and you may only have one color or one kind of brush, and that's fine. That one works really good to go around. And so maybe, since yours probably came with a small brush, if you don't have a bunch of time to paint the whole background, you could even use like an oil pastel instead. It might be faster for you. Sounds like my kids are having an epic battle downstairs. Also, if you're a lefty, you have my permission to turn your paper upside down when you paint, because left-handed people often get stuck having to paint or draw with the spiral on the wrong side, and it's bugging them. So you could turn your paper upside down if you're left-handed and do it with the spiral on the other side so it's not bugging your hand. Thought that might make your life easier. Almost done with the crazy hair. Alright, and that is the gist of the chili Ristra. And then you can go back if you want. I added these funky glasses to mine just because I thought it was cool. You could add some little hands if you want to, make it a character, or you can just leave it like that and it looks really nice. And everybody likes pictures of Ristras because it reminds them of New Mexico. So anyway, that is that, and when you're done, please upload it to Artsonia, and we'll see you next time. Bye.